What a strange kind of silence. Just as 3I Atlas, the rarest interstellar visitor in years, brushes past Mars, our ground stations blink offline. Government shutdown. NASA feeds go dark. Public access goes cold. The exact moment we need open eyes and real-time data, the shutters come down. That's not a movie script. That's October 2025. An object known as 3I Atlas is now pulling away from its closest point to Mars, which occurred on October 3rd. Today, it's still near enough to matter, but you won't be seeing it from here. The object is nearly invisible from Earth. Buried in the solar glare, hidden in the blinding zone near the Sun, it's untouchable by most telescopes. That leaves us with a strange dependency. Our only real view comes from orbiters around Mars. And yet those systems, too, have fallen strangely quiet. Timing like this raises questions. We aren't talking about just another space rock. This thing has sparked wild theories for a reason. Some astronomers think it's an extremely active comet. Others wonder if it's something less familiar. A probe, a craft, a broken fragment of engineered metal riding in from interstellar space. No one's making bold claims, but behind closed doors, speculation is intense. One thread of hope came on October 2nd. Perseverance, NASA's rover on Mars, took a long exposure image sequence. Across those frames, a faint but consistent streak appeared. It didn't follow the sky's normal motion. It wasn't a star trail, and it wasn't a cosmic ray glitch. The line was slanted and stable, a real object moving fast. One user on Twitter, Drew, noticed it. That streak might have been 3I Atlas itself. No confirmation yet, but the math fits. We still don't know the true size of this thing, but early models put its lower boundary around 5 kilometers wide and 33 billion tons. It has no long glowing tail like most comets. Instead, it's wrapped in a strange pale coma of ionized gas and dust. Not a beam, not a flare, more like a haze that pulses faintly with energy. Its speed is unsettling. About 60 kilometers per second, accelerating toward nearly 68 as it dives toward the Sun at the end of October. One more clue came in late September. A coronal mass ejection, an enormous outburst from the Sun, slammed into 3I Atlas around the 25th. If the object were fragile, this should have shredded it. But the follow-up images on September 27th and again on October 2nd showed no violent break, no crumbling, no change in course. The coma only grew subtly, like breath fogging on cold glass. Which brings us back to why silence matters. NASA's deep space ground assets are now offline due to a government shutdown. But not everyone is in the dark. ESA, the European Space Agency, still has eyes. Their Mars Express orbiter and the ExoMars Trace Gas orbiter both had line of sight during the flyby. Instruments on board gathered spectra and images. And JUICE, Europe's mission to the outer solar system, is on track to intercept this visitor as it nears perihelion. That mission may be our best bet for a clean look, assuming sun interference doesn't drown out the data. All attention now turns to Europe. For the first time in decades, NASA may not be the leader in interpreting a mystery this big. Let's talk mass. A research team from Harvard, Richard Cludea, Avi Loeb, and Peter Vess, analyzed the object using data collected from 227 observatories between May and late September. They tracked its movement, comparing its actual path to a purely gravitational one. The result was subtle, but telling. There's a push, less than 15 meters per day squared. That's tiny, but it means something. Active comets usually have jets of gas that escape and nudge the nucleus. This one is active, clearly venting gas, but the movement is sluggish. That implies weight, and a lot of it. Their estimate? Over 33 billion tons. A nucleus around 5 kilometers wide. That puts 3I Atlas at several orders of magnitude more massive than other known interstellar visitors like Oumuamua or Borisov. Which brings us to the elephant in the room. If interstellar space is full of objects like this, where are the others? Why haven't we seen more of them? Why do the rare ones we spot seem so extreme? Loeb has pointed out that this object appears unusually massive, oddly timed, and potentially carrying elemental patterns, like nickel without iron, that don't match natural expectations. It's still speculation, but it's not baseless. NASA remains cautious. Their current position is that it's most likely a natural comet with some quirks. They point to coma activity, outgassing behavior, and orbital dynamics as consistent with known physics. But the low acceleration, massive size, and strange composition still hang in the air. Other scientists are looking at purpose, not just origin. Astrophysicist Suzanne Falsner has introduced a provocative idea. What if 3I Atlas isn't just a rock? What if it's a planetary seed? Picture the birth of a solar system, a young star wrapped in a swirling disk of gas and dust. Tiny grains drift, collide, and cling together. Pebbles grow into boulders. Boulders form the building blocks of planets. But here's the problem. Those disks don't last forever. Radiation and stellar winds blow them away after a few million years. That may not be enough time to grow gas giants like Jupiter from scratch. Falsner's model asks, what if the disk doesn't start from scratch? What if, instead of beginning with dust, the disk gets a head start? A large, solid object from another star system falls in. Not a mote, not a speck, but a chunk big enough to act as a core. Something with real gravity. It begins sweeping up gas, pulling mass toward itself, triggering a runaway growth process. That single intrusion could kickstart an entire planet's formation. And she's run the numbers. Massive stars are more likely to capture interstellar objects than small ones. And wouldn't you know it, gas giants are more common around massive stars. That match between theory and what we observe is striking. If this holds true, then these objects aren't accidents. They're not debris or leftovers. They're the catalysts, the travelers, the igniters of solar systems. That would mean some interstellar objects seeded planets in other systems. Some may even have played a role here, in our own early solar disk. It doesn't require intention, just motion and timing. But it would change how we see them. They're not visitors, they're builders. Right now, all we can do is watch, wait, track. The object is heading toward perihelion, where sunlight will make it even harder to observe. But we're not blind. Europe is watching, spectrographs are humming, and if JUICE reaches it in time, we may catch a glimpse of what it really is. We've always looked outward, hoping for signs. Sometimes they don't come as messages or signals. Sometimes they come as massive interstellar visitors. And in moments like this, when the data goes dark and the object slips through the quiet, that silence says as much as any broadcast ever could. Thanks for watching.